Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers. If you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money. So we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now, on with the show.
It's Lil.
And Kelly.
It's nice to have a show that's consistently good.
Yes, it is.
Consistent in the ratings.
Uh-huh.
You just almost always know what you're going to get with The Flash. And I appreciate that.
Consistency is good.
Competency is good.
Yeah, but I'm still scratching my head about something this week.
Oh, you want to air your gripe right in the welcome section? Be my guest. Because you're the hard butt on this podcast and I'm the fangirl. We've established that.
Which is hilarious. Okay, if we have some of the most brilliant minds in, the world, at least in Central City, right? In one room. They're at Harrison Wells' house. They're at this crime scene. Wouldn't they have noticed the void in the glass pattern?
Well, they pretty much said it. Well, not from the void of the glass, but they were like, they were explaining how he was supposedly right there around the room or whatever.
And he wasn't cut.
Yeah.
But you would have seen his body imprint in where there was no glass. And it wasn't there.
I mean, come on. At least just give Barry a little credit for figuring out that Wells was lying. You can't win them all, Kelly.
I know, but I'm like, okay, if you've watched any procedurals, if you know anybody who detects for a living, that would be kind of a blatant hello.
This is in the Arrow universe where Quentin can't tell the difference between his daughters, so
yeah, that's a little scary. I know.
So I'm just throwing that out there. Sorry for bringing Queen Consolidated Business onto the Flashpoint, but I mean it's in the same universe at this point. I mean, we even had some cameo villains from the Arrow universe, so
right.
I'm just it's apropos to bring that up right now. But I will say, all in all, it was a really good episode. It made me smile, it made me cheer, it made me chuckle, it brought a little tear to my eye. Again, it brought the range of emotions, and I'm just really grateful to have a show that can do that on a consistent basis.
That's right. Made me want to throttle the jerk.
Oh man, him and Merlin need to get together, so I can have a punch fest. Boom, boom, boom. So of course we're talking about episode 111, The Sound and the Fury, and right there, that was a literature fangirl squeak. I was like, oh my god, they're so adorable. Did they really just? And it's kind of a nod to Hartley Rathaway, really, in a way.
It was very cool.
I liked it a lot. So this episode was all about the girl power on the writing side of things. We had Allison Skapker and Brooke Eckemeyer. They did a fabulous job. And making his Flash debut is John Showalter. He is a frequent director on another CW show called Supernatural. He's directed one of the best episodes and one of the worst episodes of Supernatural. So I didn't know what I was going to get. We also had some guest stars. We had Tom Butler as Eric Larkin, Roger Holworth as Mason Bridge, Andy Menzies as Hartley Rathaway, a.k.a. Pied Piper, another person who does not trust Cisco to give him his proper name. I love it when they name themselves. What can I say? Hit him with a synopsis.
Dr. Wells' former protege, Hartley Rathaway, returns to seek revenge on his mentor after being affected by the particle accelerator explosion. Now able to manipulate sound waves, the brilliant Rathaway is a dangerous threat to both Wells and the Flash. Meanwhile, Iris is thrilled when she's hired by Central City's Picture News as their newest cub reporter. Unfortunately, her editor pairs her with a veteran reporter, Mason Bridge, who wants nothing to do with her. Cisco recalls his first day on the job at Star Labs when he meets Hartley and Caitlin. Joe asks Eddie for a favor, but asks him to keep it a secret from Barry. More secrets.
Our ratings were super consistent again. Big surprise. Do you want to take a shot in the dark about what they were?
1.3, 1.4.
Yep, it was a 1.3. Now this is the weird thing. This is we had literally almost 4 million viewers, but we're only at a 1.3 in the demo. But we are super high. We're at like a 1.6 in the 25 to 54 demo. So we skew a little older. Or at least this episode, we skewed slightly older than in the demo of 18 to 34 specifically.
That's interesting.
It doesn't surprise me. Like I said, we have a lot of veteran actors that draw in all... We just have a varied cast that draws in all kinds.
Well, and we have more drama.
Well, we have more heart and pathos.
Yeah.
So, you know, I found that interesting, though. I don't hate that we skew a little older, but it is on the CW. And, you know, that's just the general guidelines for marketing still for some reason. I don't know why. Millennials have no money. They make the joke every week on Flash now. Let's get into the crux of this episode. What did you get for the theme?
Part of it to me was that nice guys don't finish last. Because look at Cisco. You know, he came in, he's the new guy, and this established guy that everybody thinks is the favorite, you know, the chosen son, is just dogging him, and he ends up lasting longer than this guy. Barry, you know, okay, he's going through all this stuff, he's dealing with this guy, and, you know, gets kind of beaten down, you know. He finds his harmonic frequency and just messes with him. But in the end, you know, Barry not only saves all the people that are in trouble at the dam, but he also captures this guy. You know what I mean? He's the nice guy. But he doesn't finish last. He triumphs. Yeah, and then you got Joe too, because Joe, he's the nice guy.
He's not letting Dr. Wells pull the wool over his eyes.
Exactly. While he's keeping it quiet from Barry, and I can understand that, he's still doing the right thing for Barry.
And probably Central City.
Yeah, exactly.
In the long run. I got that kind of like a never meet your heroes thing, or, you know, everybody makes mistakes, nobody's perfect, in that kind of vein. Sorry for sounding like Hannah Montana for a second, guys. So yeah, that's what I kind of got, because, you know, we talk about how Wells disappointed Hartley, he's kind of disappointed Caitlin, Barry, and Cisco simultaneously. You know, so it's like that whole thing. And but then, you know, in the monologues, the opening monologues kind of about that as well.
Right.
Kind of bummed we didn't get a closing monologue, though.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Hey, we can't always have bookends.
I know, but I love them.
You know what I was really kind of impressed with was after kind of the whole Wells thing, I have a feeling that Cisco and Caitlin are now going to kind of look out for Barry more.
Yeah, I hope so. Somebody needs to.
Agreed.
We've been saying that for, like, since the pilot, I believe. We've been saying
yes.
that. We had flashbacks this week, and it shed a little light on Cisco. Now, we're 11 episodes in, but it's only season 1. It's not like we had to wait for, like, Felicity's.
That's right. And he wears awesome shirts.
Always has, always will. Yeah, I really enjoy it. And they were used very sparingly, by the way, as well. And I love the filter for it. It tells you right away, this is a flashback.
That's right. It's easy to tell. And the whole, you know, I kind of like young Cisco, you know, he kind of almost, I don't know how to explain it, just more carefree, you know?
Well, he's seen a lot of tragedy.
Exactly. But it was fun to see him, you know, kind of throwing caution to the wind. And
I also like that him and Caitlin had instant chemistry.
Yeah. And that he's not afraid to stand up for himself.
Yeah, and it's very interesting that he and Caitlin have only known each other basically 2 years now. Dude, it's only been 2 years? Really?
Oh, yeah. But you go through all that together and you would be.
Yeah. We've been asking for more Cisco. I assumed it was in the pipelines, and I'm glad they gave us a little bit out of the Cisco Bible.
That's right.
Anything else you want to gripe about before we get into the breakdown?
Not really, actually. I was really happy with this episode, except for that one little weird thing that just niggled at my consciousness.
Well, that's also probably why they don't do the crime scene stuff in Barry's head anymore. You know, I mean, you can't think of everything as a writer,
Right.
and so I think they try to tread lightly on the forensics thing.
Yeah, I would agree with you there.
Okay, so we open this episode with a police chase. 3 criminals on a motorcycle. I thought that was fabulous. And I also like that, Caitlin and Sissel are kind of flailing, and, here's Dr. Wells to the rescue to step in and help.
And Barry changing the traffic barriers, the water-filled barricades. That was hilarious.
Awesome. I got the keys! Then it's kind of like back at Star Labs. Cisco wants to take a picture, and Barry's like, dude, I'm in my costume unmasked. And, he's taking a frowny face. And, then Wells is like, maybe people will be interested in the future. And I'm like, yeah, to put it in his museum.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that Caitlin, is buttoned down as she is. You don't really think that she cares about, stuff like makeup. She does.
Yeah, she
Well,
totally...
it's not that she cares about makeup. She just always wants to present that facade of being put together.
Well, and if they're capturing this for posterity for people in the future, yeah, I'm gonna want to look nice.
You don't want to look back at that 80s yearbook with the crimped hair and the spandex.
Bangs. The wall of bangs, yes.
Oh, so I did like that. And Barry takes a speed selfie.
That was hilarious.
That was so cute. I liked it a lot. And then Barry goes home and he finds Iris and he's giving her stuff like, hey, dude, you moved out. Why are you here? but only in a joking way. Because, of course, everybody's always happy to see Iris.
That's right.
And, Joe invites her to stay for dinner for cheap wine and even cheaper, cheap spaghetti and even cheaper wine, I would assume, on the cop salary. Spaghetti a la me. I like that line.
Yeah,
but now he and Quentin, you know what? Now I have the flashback of him and Quentin living together, cooking for each other.
Oh, no.
They give me all I need is all I'm saying.
Cops.
Yeah, and then, Joe says, hey, Central City Picture News called. They offered you a job. She's officially a reporter now for no reason, even though she's not finished with her PhD. We don't know what she's getting her PhD in.
Didn't we kind of call that?
Yeah. I mean, Iris in the comic books was a journalist, but I think that they've rushed this a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know that this will last. Because look at kind of how she was treated.
That's going to make her more determined, because that's just Iris.
True, but will she stay there or will she go somewhere better?
Well, she's going to go to Central City Gazette, obviously.
Well, yeah, obviously, but you know what I'm saying.
Whatever the main newspaper is here. I don't know that it's Central City Gazette in this actual Flash iteration, but
yeah, but you know what I'm saying. She's gonna go to the best place.
It's a snare foot in the door, definitely.
Right.
And I have to say that I really did enjoy her and Mason. It gave it such a. If you ever watched the New Adventures of Lois and Clark with Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher. If you ever watched the pilot episode, that is the vibe that I got, that Lois and Clark vibe, but in reverse, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I like that. The old veteran reporter and the new hot shot. Of course they're going to clash, oh, you're a blogger. And I'm like, watch it. Most of these people are online are bloggers now. And,
that's right.
And you know what? The funny thing is that before I started blogging, that's why I used to think, oh, it's just moms blogging about coupon clipping. Who wants to blog? But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the Flash is so plugged into their fan base that they just like to give them a little ribbing every now and then. And
that's right.
I can take it. I'm okay. I'm a big girl. Then we go to cut to Wells's house, and we see he lives in this. I don't think it was. I thought it was an apartment, but apparently it was a house.
It's a house. Yeah, it was too big, I think, for an apartment. But wow, was it?
It was
Spartan.
Oh my God, he walks in, he gets out of his chair, cuts on the classical music. Might as well just lit the fireplace with a remote.
Yeah.
He is. I was like, you are not entertaining ladies in this bachelor pad? Really? Okay.
How should I put this? Most of the time, at least the people that I know that are really creative types are more eclectic. Mm-hmm. Not that Spartan.
Well,
I mean,
he's not creative. He's a scientist. Like he's
true.
you know, I mean, it is creative in a sense because you're always looking for that next thing and to do your research, but not like, you know, a musician or like an artist that paints or sculpts or something like that.
True, but I mean, it just to have somewhere so sterile. I mean, it
You
was
would
pretty.
expect Caitlin's place to look like that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking his place, I would have expected, like, in his study to see, like, mounds of books.
You know, maybe since his lady friend died, you know, he changed a lot. You know, he's become introspective and not tied to this world. You know what I mean?
That could be. But I would figure he would be researching his plots, you know.
Well, that's what Gideon, the Lego Room of Requirements book does.
That's true.
Yeah, I brought that back.
I love it.
So yeah, I was like, wow, this is an awesome set. I don't see no plywood boards in this one.
No. No plywood door this week.
But the window thing. Always something. He gets a phone call and then all the electrical things that run on frequencies go out and you know, little creepy scream voice, we both know what you did. It's time to pay the piper. And I'm like, oh, did they really just?
Mm-hmm, they really did.
And then glass shatters everywhere. And then cue CCPD's finest. And I mean that in the best sense, of course, because it's Joe and it's Eddie and it's Barry. And then, you know, Welsh tries to play it off and, you know, and then Caitlin and Cisco show up late because they've never been to his house. And I was just like, what?
Mm-hmm, that's kind of weird.
I mean, okay, Cisco, okay, he's only technically been there like, you know, 2 years. Caitlin, I would assume, has been there way longer.
Right.
And she's never, like, he never invited them over? Like, that's weird.
So that's what makes me think that there's something there he's hiding.
Oh, there absolutely is. There's probably another Lego room.
Lego room of requirement.
Has to be. And then, you know, Wells has this little flashback of playing chess at Star Labs with Hartley Rathaway. And, you know, Hartley's just this smug son of a gun. And it also happens to be the first day that Cisco, you know, the day Cisco gets hired. And Hartley just doesn't like him. And I think a lot of it had to do with because he was rich and highfalutin.
Well, that. And it was supposedly his team and he wasn't consulted. And I think he felt affronted by that.
Yeah, I get that. But, dude, did you get a feeling that Dr. Wells and Hartley had, like, a sexual relationship?
You gotta wonder.
You're always going to be my guy. Like, that, like, the way that he came for him was so super personal.
Yeah.
Way past professional. And yes, he lost his hearing and all that, but I don't know. I don't know if it was just the chemistry between Andy and Tommy C, but like I was just like I tweeted that. I was like, did they have a relationship? Like,
well, and also the way that they brought it up. I mean, quite frankly, that's like the last thing I care about is somebody's orientation.
Well, the Pied Piper is actually gay in the comic books, and that his origin story was very true to form to the comic books.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, I just thought it was kind of weird that was, you know.
It was a little sloppy, but I mean, it is in the comic books, and I guess there's no real way to be able to approach that.
Yeah.
You know, without
that's probably
just
not in an hour.
Yeah, kind of like, you know, it's like that clumsy exposition that you just have to get out of the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I don't know. I got a little sexual chemistry between Tommy C and Andy Minish.
Or at least not just a work. It wasn't just a work relationship.
Yeah, that was just like way beyond. That was like way too personal. He was really trying to destroy everything he had left.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I think that would be something actually kind of interesting to explore later on. Just because I mean that is interesting. Like because you just can't put your finger on Dr. Wells.
Exactly. And it's going to be interesting to see if well, not to spoil, but if eventually somebody gets questions answered by Mr. Piper.
Yeah. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Exactly.
Eddie then kind of reports to Joe on his search, and both men kind of note that he's unhurt, and they're like, yeah, dude's suspicious. And then Barry, he comes with his own suspicions, but Wells kind of confesses to him that he knows who called, and it's the prodigal son. And then we go to Star Labs, and it's Joe and Barry, and they're filled in by Wells, Cisco, and Caitlin about Hartley, and apparently he was a jerk. A genius, but a jerk nonetheless. And I get kind of
worse.
I know that it's kind of that stereotype. It kind of fits the data about the smarter you are, the higher your IQ, the lower your emotional quotient. But that's not always the case. And then we need to really stop playing into that.
Yeah, because some people. Well, I know some people with pretty high IQs that are really tenderhearted.
Yeah, I really just hate that stereotype. It bothers me a lot.
Yes,
I think it's probably because it's one of the reasons why I kind of stopped watching The Big Bang Theory, because if you watch that show without a laugh track, it basically looks like a bunch of people making fun of somebody who is on the autistic spectrum, which Sheldon kind of is.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like I just had to stop watching The Big Bang because of that. It's just feeding into the negative nerd culture, and I just don't like it. So then, after they talk about him, Barry promises to kind of protect his friends, of course, because he's Barry. And then we get another flashback of Cisco's first day at Star Labs, and Hartley just keeps giving it to him.
That's right.
And then Caitlin introduces herself, and she mentions that she and Rodney are going away for the weekend to celebrate their first anniversary. So they were only together for 2 years before all this happened. This is crazy.
Yes.
Everybody. I mean, this is literally the origin story for everybody. Apparently, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like how they're just kind of casually dropping this timeline, though, like without it being like explicitly stated and like dun 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 underlined.
Yes, and I love how Caitlin tells Cisco to ignore Harley.
I know, we all do.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's weird. I would have never expected Caitlin to be like that. So Harley must just bring it out in everybody. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. He's got to be really, really
Big
patronizing. Yeah.
So then we see Iris show up for her first day at Central City Picture News. That is an awful name for a newspaper. Of course, she gets into that confrontation with the veteran news guy who thinks she's a dumb blogger and only got the job because she's got an in with the Flash.
Yeah.
So, of course, since she's a cub reporter, he gets stuck with being her mama bear, much to his chagrin.
Yes, he is not happy.
So I heard that the guy that played Mason Bridge, Roger Horwath, was like some big soap opera star.
I don't know.
Kelly, you're supposed to be the one that knows that.
I haven't watched soap operas since the 80s, honey. Back when I watched soap operas, Robin Wright was in them, okay?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah.
John Wesley Shipp was in
Yes,
them.
he was. I do remember.
My grandmother finally remembers John Wesley Shipp from his stints on the soap opera scene. Which is why I think I have a special place for soap opera actors now. But yeah, so I think it was Jules that was tweeting about that. And Linda Vickers. Yeah.
Cool.
So anyway, I think he was like on Days or something. Then after Iris's first introduction to the pitch meeting is what I look like.
Mm-hmm.
We go to, where do we go after that?
Hey, you got a story about the Flash?
Oh, no, that comes later.
Oh, yeah.
He does.
It's a pitch meeting. Yeah.
She wants to do it. She wants to do like really important stories. And he's like, that's nice and all, but do you got anything about the Flash? No?
That's right.
No? Okay, you shut the hell up.
Yep.
I was like, ew. Oh, okay. Everybody has a niche specialty, apparently.
Well, the Flash sells papers.
Oh, absolutely. But I was like, is this Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man? Like, what?
Yeah, exactly. Jonah Jameson, yes.
That's exactly what I thought of. I was like, this isn't Perry White. This is JJ.
Yes, yes, it was. Yes.
Oh, then we get the cool scene with Barry explaining to Joe about the glass the specific.
Sympathetic frequencies.
Yeah, and like they're having so much fun, and it's so cute. And he's like, and then Eddie arrives to announce that Hartley is attacking his father's building, and then of course he gets the call from Caitlin, and we see Hartley shatter, like just being a show off. They should have known right then. So a few cop cars, he kind of takes them out, and then the Flash shows up, and he's like, "Hey, I can hear your frequencies." He's like, "Is that you, Wells, Cisco, Caitlin? Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Are they gonna hear you die?"
That was awful.
That was and Barry. Okay, this is the thing that I hate. Every single time Barry gets cocky, he gets his butt handed to him, and
Yes.
that is the new animated movie Flash where he gets all cocky like that. That is not classic quintessential Flash, and I hate it. It bugs
Yeah.
every time.
Why would Barry have not thought that he could hear him? You know what I'm saying? If he knows that this guy shattered glass because he had the sympathetic frequency of glass, he's got to know that he can hear and know those frequencies. So why would he have comms on?
Like sometimes they're just not very smart. Like they think that they're the smartest people in the room is the problem. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that a lot of that is where that stems from, and then a lot of it is because the writers just need to have something flashy and catchy. TV writing.
True.
And then, we see at Star Labs, Hartley tells Cisco that, after Barry actually catches him, Hartley comes in and he tells the Flash, "Hey, I've always dreamed of being cuffed by somebody from head to toe leather." And I'm like, okay, let's keep our fetishes to ourselves, shall we?
Yeah.
And he kind of taunts Caitlin, and that really ticked me off. He's like, "Never got that wedding invitation." And then Barry, protective baby Barry, "Shut the hell up." And then they, lock him in the cell, and we see that he has hearing aids and stuff, and we learn that whole thing. And then Wells kind of arrives in time to hear Hartley threaten Cisco.
Mm-hmm. And we find out he's got a killer case of tinnitus.
I think that it's interesting that he lost his hearing in the explosion.
Mm-hmm.
I like how all it's that explosion is like Smallville's kryptonite, basically.
Right.
All trails always lead back to Star Labs.
Okay, so I got a dumb question.
Okay.
Why is he so obsessed with the Flash? Why is he all mad at him?
Because he thinks that's his pet. That he figured it out that the Star Labs was helping him, and
So he's gonna give in to him.
Projection.
Yeah, I guess.
He like I said, he was really trying to destroy everything that was important to Dr. Wells. The Flash seemed important to him.
Then that makes sense.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to fan link this out, dude. Oh, what else? Then Wells is impressed that Hartley figured out that Star Labs was working with the Flash, but I was like, he basically did the same thing that Hacker did for Cupid and Arrow.
Right, exactly.
I was just like, I mean, that was just a regular run-of-the-mill, probably, 120 IQ hacker. And then, Wells goes to speak to Barry and Caitlin because he tells them that Hartley knew he confesses his secret. And they all really...
One of them.
The only secret they know.
That's right.
I was just like, oh my God, they were such teases with that. It ticked me off to no end.
Yes.
Then Caitlin, everybody kind of storms out of the room, and then back at the CCPN, Iris is told to go work on a new Flash story. And then Mason's like, you're not coming with me. You're going to go look for that exploitative tabloid crap,
Yeah.
I was like, did he just say chick lit? Like, really? Gumption, grit. I was just like, okay, Mason, you are on my hit list now.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, then Wells goes to speak to Barry Kate. Oh, no, I already said that. That night, Iris meets Barry at Jitters, and she gets to commiserate about her day.
Yes. And poor Barry.
And he gave her some really good advice.
He did.
I like that. I like that they're sort of kind of normal again. I enjoy their scenes together. I do.
Yes.
So Cisco stays Hartley's gloves, and Caitlin's worried about, she hasn't seen Wells in a while. And they're like, And then he realizes that the gloves were set at the lowest setting, and he's like, oh crap, he wanted to get caught. And then they see the monitor. Guess what? We
He's
got a
gone.
Pied Piper on the loose, rounding
That's
up
right.
his rats. I mean that in a literal sense too. So Wells is in his hiding place with the reverse. Oh, and the Lego room of requirement with the.
He's in his hidey hole.
Yeah, exactly. So he tries to run at super speed down the hall, but then his legs give out on him. So that's weird.
Well, was it that, or was it the didn't he use that sonic device thing?
Yeah, it's like taking away his, because he can walk for real. He doesn't really need that
Right.
wheelchair, but if he
Right,
keeps
but-
it up, he's gonna need it.
Yeah, but there are sonic frequencies that can cause you to lose control, muscular control.
Yeah.
So probably what he used.
Really, you think that's what it was? I thought that they were trying to imply that it was that the tachyon particle accelerator was taking its toll on him.
Well, it could be that too, or it could be a combination of both. It could be that the sonic thing affected that too, because it said something about only 35% or something. Yeah, so I mean, it could be that the sonic frequencies have affected that as well, or it could be that it's just the technology is failing, because it is so old.
Yeah, I could see that. And then like Hartley blows up like the thing, and dude, as soon as Cisco reaches the door, I almost freaked out, dude.
Poor Cisco.
I was like, not my baby Cisco. Now you have to pay.
That's right.
So Caitlin tries to call Cisco, but Hartley finds her, knocks her out, takes his gloves, and begins to steal files from the computer.
Can you believe he hit her?
Oh yeah, I can believe it.
Well, I can believe it. I was just like, oh my goodness.
He's
jerk.
a jerk. Wells is like on the ground helpless, and he's like I almost wanted Barry just to be like, ignore.
Yeah.
But then he zooms in to save him, because that's what Barry does.
That's
but
right.
Hartley is gone. It's too late. And then Cisco wakes up in the hospital bed, and he's got a concussion. And
Aww.
Barry and Caitlin are kind of fussing over him.
But what does he want to do?
Oh no! The first thing he said is Caitlin okay?
Yes.
Oh.
And then he goes to reading.
Yeah, of course. He's gonna get this piece of crap.
That's right.
Like, they're trying to all take the blame, and then Wells is like, no, it's my fault, and I'm gonna earn your trust back. And then we get another flashback where he fires Hartley and tells him, yo, you better keep your mouth closed. You're gonna be teaching physics at the high school, son. I was like, what's wrong with being a teacher? Oh, for Hartley, that's like a really low blow.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, being a teacher is like one of the noblest things you can do.
That's right. Now here's a question. Keep his mouth closed about what?
About the particle accelerator. That's what he was
Just that?
No, he said anything that you don't have verifiable proof of.
That's what I'm saying. He's got to know more. There's got to be more.
Yeah, I'm wondering why he just didn't spill the beans. I mean, if he would have told him, Hartley knows way more. So I think he's just piecing it out. Every time he wants to escape, he's gonna drop a little bomb. You know what I mean? Well, no. At the end, we see though, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
And then Wells has a press conference, and of course Mason tries to bogart it, but then he's like, nah, son, I'm gonna call on. Hey, is that you, Iris? He's trying to score points with Barry though.
Yes.
But Iris was like the cool chick, and she's like, no, answer my colleague's question. And that's the only question he answers, and then press conference over.
That's right. Mea culpa. Mea culpa. Let me help Barry's a woman. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Then we see Wells and Barry return to Star Labs, and Hartley contacts them, and Cisco's like, no, I'm gonna really, really find this out. And Kayla's like, no, go lay down. And then Wells has a really sweet moment with Cisco, and he's like, there are no favorites, it's just us.
That's right.
Oh, that was really cool.
Yes, it was.
Well, come on, let's be real. We all know Barry's the favorite. Well, he's the pig that's getting fattened up for the slaughter. That's
right. Because he's the Crimson Cruiser.
The Scarlet Speedster, the Crimson Crusader.
Crimson Cruiser.
Then, of course, Hartley calls him, and he's like, we're going to have one more chess match, and it's going to be for... The stakes are basically the Flash.
All the marbles.
I love that. I love that phrase. Nobody even knows what marbles are anymore though. Jacks or marbles. Oh God, now I sound like an old timey person.
My daughter does.
Really?
She had both.
Really?
Yes. I played marbles when I was a kid too.
Me too.
And jacks.
And only like 2 people in my whole wherever I went ever knew anything about jacks and marbles. Ah, yeah. So they're playing for all the marbles, and they figure out that he's at Cleveland Dam. You don't say.
Because Cleveland rocks.
Funny how all our conversations just kind of always come back to stuff we were talking about before the podcast started.
That's right.
And so, Barry confronts, Hartley, and just, he gets the one up on him, and, Dr. Wells saves him.
Yeah.
See, this is what I mean. Barry still is rushing into situations.
Unprepared.
Yeah, it's really starting to bother me because Barry is a really smart guy. He chooses to do forensics, but he could do so much. He could work at Star Labs if he wanted to.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
He's that smart. And I mean, in the camp, he's that smart. He studied physics. You don't need to study physics to be a forensic. You just don't.
No.
So it kind of just ticks me off that they kind of dumb Barry down a little bit from time to time.
Well, some of that could be, he's still really young.
Yeah. I guess Oliver's going to have to slap him into submission at this point.
A little bit. I mean, he's still kind of impulsive, and he has the heart. He's wearing his heart on his sleeve. He doesn't want to see anything happen to these people. And so
if
he's
something happens to him, who's going to defend the city? Who's going to keep his friends and family safe?
Exactly. He's not thinking of that. He's thinking in the moment because his mind is racing just like his body is.
Well, usually he's able to process everything all together like that too, though.
I hear you. I mean, look at how Wells directed him earlier in the episode. He was giving him directions exactly when he needed them. But you know what I'm saying?
But yeah, good old Dr. Wells to the rescue. He he commandeers a satellite. I was like, okay, Felicity. And redirects and sets it to a frequency that destroys the Pied Piper's gloves. And then, back at Star Labs, Barry's talking real loud, and Cisco's like, I'm going to go lay down. And, we're putting everything to bed. And, Wells kind of apologizes to Barry, and, Barry's like, that was today. And then he gives them the photo that they took. And, of course, I have a screen cap of it. It's my screenshot of the night. I love, quote-unquote, family photos. Then Barry just visits Joe. And I thought that this was kind of weird, but kind of I guess his mind was just thinking, about, why Hartley turned out the way that he did. He was so obsessed with looking for that approval. And then when Wells disappointed him, and then the thing that he warned him happened out of his sheer arrogance, But it wasn't arrogance. Wells needed this to happen, as we kind of pieced together. But he does. I guess Hartley doesn't know that part.
Mm-hmm.
But so he goes to talk to Joe and say, you're irreplaceable. I love you for you. You were there for me. You're, nobody can replace you. Not even Wells. I thought that was...
Yeah. Well, and that he said, that, not even his dad could replace him.
And I thought that it was really nice that they kind of brought Henry Allen back up, because we haven't seen him yet, but he's
coming.
I know. Believe me, I know. Cannot wait. Another tearjerker, by the way, guys.
Yeah, we need more jailhouse scenes.
We really do. But yeah, and I like that. Like I said, he's got 3 dads, basically.
That's right.
Then Hartley wakes up in a cell. Eddie comes in after Barry leaves, and he's like, yo, Joe, you still want to keep investigating Wells? He's like, hell yeah, dude.
You betcha.
And then we see Hartley wake up in a new cell, and Cisco's there, and he's like, yeah, you're not going to have your implants. Ain't no more escaping. And then Hartley's like, nah, you're going to let me out.
Mm.
I know where Ronnie is and what happened to him and how to help him. And I'm like, whoa, as Robbie and Mill would say. And then we see Dr. Wells in the Lego room of requirement, and he's wearing the tachyon device. And Gideon's like, yo, you probably shouldn't do that. So we learn that he's been infusing himself with the Speed Force. Well, we already kind of knew that, but this is confirmation. And he admits that the speed is inconsistent, and sometimes he can't even walk at all. And he's like, I always knew that this was a temporary situation, but the end game is almost here, sucker.
Yeah.
And that's where we leave everything. We actually ended on two kind of twist scenes, you know what I mean? I like that.
That was fun.
Let's get into the episode awards. Joe Gray.
Mm.
This is hard, but
I am. I'm probably the hardest one, right? I'm gonna say B+. I really enjoyed it. I think it could be better, but I really, really thoroughly enjoyed it.
no, it was a B plus, definitely. I don't know. It just was missing that certain je ne sais
Yeah.
quoi. I can't really put my finger on it, but it was still a really good episode. I smiled, I laughed, I cried. It was a good mix of everything, like I said earlier. Cast chemistry is amazing. You know, if I have to put my finger on it, I feel like the Pied Piper, and I know that he's gonna be back, I guess. But as an introduction to the Pied Piper, which is such an iconic, just Flash Rogues member, it left me wanting. You know what I mean?
Well, you didn't care about him. He was a jerk, and so you didn't care what happened to him.
It was kind of like Girder all over again. Yeah. I think, yeah. Because like I said, I like a villain that you can feel invested in, especially if he's going to come back.
Exactly. You want somebody that you can identify with and you can understand why he went through this change.
Yeah, it just seems like, oh, you know, woe is me. My parents kicked me out because I'm gay. But he still had, if he would have let them be, a family at Star Labs. But he kept everybody at a distance. And I like that kind of how when he was having, Dr. Wells was having that moment with Cisco, he kind of explains the difference between them about how, you know, when Cisco's around people, it adds to, you know, the environment. How it kind of being around people hindered Hartley. And I thought that was a really interesting kind of dichotomy.
Yeah, that was really cool. And I know plenty of people that are both ways.
Yeah. Scene of the night?
At the dam, the cars going flying, the zooming through and get the people. That was just really cool.
I'm gonna go with Barry telling Joe that he was irreplaceable.
That was awesome too.
Because I'm in the mushy mood. Like the only show where I'm like super mushy, sentimental, and emotional. Enjoy it. Soak it in, listeners. If you listen to Queen Consolidated, you know how I really am. It's me about every other show, just about. A line of the night.
I would probably say the answer my colleague's question. That was really classy.
Oh, I think mine. Okay, I had like a few. Like I said, when Barry tells Joe, "Don't touch that," in his lab, I really liked that. And then I liked when Cisco said, "Hey, I assigned the nicknames around here." Although that's not bad, because it was in the promos for like 3 episodes. I couldn't wait to get to this. Because I knew it was the Pied Piper episode.
Cisco does do a good job at that.
Most memorable moment.
I liked Joe and Barry when they break the glass.
That was a good one too. Oh yeah, that was definitely in my top 5 moments. But my favorite moment is when Cisco shows up for the interview and he's wearing this shirt. Keep calm and Hans shut first. All you need to know.
Yes.
Loved it. Character of the night. This is a tough one for me.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm gonna give it to Dr. Wells. Because he made me mad, he made me happy. He had great moments with Cisco and Barry. But he's not pulling the wool over Joe's eyes. Never has. And I like that.
I'm gonna give it to Cisco. Because this was his first night to shine. Really, really, really. And we've wanted to know more about Cisco for how long? I mean, since the pilot. Cisco is just fun, and it's good to get some knowledge about him just besides, hey, I work in a lab and I'm smart, you know? We need more Cisco-centric stuff.
Yeah, I also like that about Cisco, that even though he's seen all this tragedy, it hasn't really dampened his spirit. Like, he's still happy, wants to make people around him laugh and smile. I like that a lot about him.
And that he's smart and a people person.
Exactly. Most improved aspect of this episode from the last episode or last few episodes?
I enjoyed the scope of the action in this episode. It was big. You know what I mean?
But you still felt the weight of it.
Exactly. You felt the weight, but it was something small. He was dealing with something major, and that was really cool. And I think, you know, with the powers that he has, that he can handle that now. And we just see him doing more big stuff like that, like moving traffic barriers and, you know what I'm saying? All that kind of stuff. And catching cars and grabbing people out of cars and, that are fallen and that kind of stuff. Because he can do that.
Yeah. Iris got more of a focus.
Mm-hmm.
But it's only A for effort because the execution just kind of fell flat. It's way too soon. I'd much rather her still be in school working on that mysterious PhD, being a journalist. I'm just saying, like, I would much prefer that. Like, I guess Iris is a self-rescuing princess and all that. She has a lot of good qualities, but, like, I don't know. It feels like we almost only see Iris at her low points with just a little bit of triumph, like, sprinkled through. I don't know. I just feel like this character could be developed more, especially just instantly giving her this journalism job where she just basically writes a blog. We know that journalism isn't her PhD.
Yeah, it would be great to see her get her degree.
Yeah.
I mean, to see her
working on it?
Yeah, accomplish a goal. I mean, yeah, working for the paper, I guess, is a goal because
But
she
the way
wanted.
that she got it, it was really kind of cruddy. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
I think you have an in. I think you're going to help me sell more papers. It's not like, oh, we really respect your writing.
Right. Exactly.
That's all. But I do like seeing more Candace Patton.
Mm-hmm.
She's so great. She live tweets with us when she can. She gives us little tiny clues and hints, and she's just a really bubbly, just nice person.
Yes.
So, there's that. But then now we need more Eddie.
Yes, we do.
like it's just like this vicious, like, okay, we've got this, now we need that. Just one vicious cycle. Best action, I think we can both agree, is at the dam.
Yep.
Best character interactions.
I liked Barry and Joe, and I would say Cisco and Caitlin, and Barry and Iris.
You nailed it. Firestorm strikes again.
There you go.
Biggest shock surprise of the night.
I was surprised that Wells made his mea culpa. That kind of, publicly. I could see him doing it to the team, but I was really surprised that he came out to the general public. I mean, his hand was kind of forced to do that, but still surprised that he did it.
I think my biggest surprise was that Hartley knew about Ronnie Raymond. I didn't know how we were going to tie Ronnie in because, Caitlin can't do anything. She can't go back to Jason at this point.
Right.
So that was one less resource. And I'm like, okay, how are we going to help Ronnie when we find him?
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's interesting to tie him into somebody that everybody in the building hates.
Yes.
That was his plan. That was his plan Z, I guess.
My get out of jail free card.
Did you notice any Easter eggs? Well, one at the beginning of the episode. Royal Flush Gang.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Royal Flush Gang, but it was a different Royal Flush Gang because obviously they're all in prison now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really funny because in the actual comic books, the Royal Flush Gang is kind of this rotating gang that just kind of keeps the moniker.
That's funny.
So I like that. I was just like, oh, snaps. But like I said earlier, The Sound and Their Fury, it shares its title with the 1929 William Faulkner novel.
Yep.
And it follows 4 generations of the Compson family as they lose their status as Southern aristocrats. And I'm just like, oh my God, they went there. Which, because like I said, Radley Hathaway comes from a really super rich family, as we saw in the previous episode before this. His parents bought a $25 million finger painting that got torched.
Yes.
And they acted like it was nothing.
No big deal.
So yeah. Highfalutin, to sum it up, old money, old values.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. The Pied Piper, this week's villain. Like I said, he's one of the most well-known rogues that the Flash has. He first appeared in Flash 106. He was created by John Broome and, of course, Carmine Infantino, because who else would do it?
That's right.
In the comics, Hartley Hathaway was actually born deaf, but he was cured at an early age by medical research funded by his wealthy parents, naturally.
Mm-hmm.
He became fascinated by music and sound and developed a way to use sound to hypnotize people and animals, thus the name Pied Piper. He turned to crime out of boredom and fought the Flash as the Pied Piper, but he also later on became an ally, so maybe that's the road we're going down. I think that would be a nice, interesting twist.
Yeah. That could be all kinds of fun.
Definitely, like this begrudging respect for one another. This is actually the first time that the Pied Piper has appeared in live action. I don't know if anybody knows this. If you watch Wonder Woman, you should be well aware that he appeared on the 1970s Wonder Woman show.
Yes.
He's the one that used the flute and was rapping the women at the box office theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, who was played by none other than Martin freaking Mull.
Oh my goodness.
Another Canuck that I just love. Iris was originally a photographer for the Central City Picture News. God,
that makes sense. Picture news.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. But no, oh yeah. See, the paper is later changed in the comic books to Central City Citizen.
Oh.
See, that's why I was like, man, that doesn't sound right. Because that's old timey. The guy Mason Bridge is actually named from Mason Tollbridge, who was a neighbor and roommate of Wally West in the late 80s and the early 90s in that run.
Cool.
Troll Bridge. I love it. They made a Chief reference to Iris's boss, which of course is a Perry White reference. They call Perry White Chief all the time. And my eye roll of the night, one of them, is I failed this city.
Yes.
Says it. I'm like, you are not in Starling City. Knock the hell off. I hate when they do that.
Yeah, I rolled my eyes at that one too.
Okay, we have actual new Flash Season 0, number 11. I am going to let Kelly tell you about it.
A new story arc begins here. When peculiar homicides start to occur in Central City, Barry and Joe recruit the Star Labs team to help with the investigation. And what they find can't possibly be true. Written by Andrew Kreisberg, pencils by Phil Hester, inks by Eric Gatsper, colored by Kelsey Shannon. It is 23 pages. Print release date's November 17th, and digital release date is January 26th.
I haven't read this one, guys, just yet. It's been sitting on my to-do list for quite a while, but it's a new arc, so even if you haven't been reading them, this is the perfect time to jump right in and get started. And if you guys, I'll be generous this week, the first 7 people to send in thoughts about this week's episode, you guys can get a copy.
Woohoo!
Along with Flash number 38, which I did read, and it was phenomenal, actually. It's the most excited I've been about the new Flash run in a while. Let me click down and tell you guys a little bit about Flash number 38. All new, all murders Flash is posing as Barry Allen, while the real Scarlet Speedster is trapped in the Speed Force. Oh no!
Uh-oh.
Written by Van Jensen and Robert Vendetti. The pencils were by Brett Booth. The inks were by Norm Rapman. It was colored by Andrew Dahlhaus. And the cover was by Brett Booth, Andrew Dahlhaus, and Norman Rapman. And then it is 23 pages long. The print and digital release dates were just the other day, January 28, 2015. I absolutely love this issue. The art in it is phenomenal. This is the start of last month was the start of a new arc, and it's very interesting. I always like the way they play with doppelgangers and clones and people from other alternate universes and stuff. It's really cool. I don't want to give away too much. But yeah, if you haven't been reading The Flash lately, like I said, read issue number 37 and jump on into this one.
That is awesome. Hey, and I have a request of our listeners. I'm actually getting ready to do some comic book eyewear for myself. And so I'm looking for some really cool Flash cells to use on my new specs. So if anybody's got any favorites, I am taking submissions to find some cool art for my glasses. So send them our way.
Definitely. You can tweet them to us at flashpoint.smg on Twitter, or you can send it into flashpointsmg@gmail.com. So yeah.
Cool. And I'll send pictures as soon as they're done. So
we do actually have a little bit of listener feedback via Tumblr of all places. Again, awesome. If you are on Tumblr, you can find us at flashpodcast.tumblr.com. And this one comes from Anika Love Minaj. I guess this is somebody who really likes Nicki Minaj. She says her favorite line of the night was when Mason said, "I do love schmear." Thank you. I totally missed that line.
I did too. See, that's why we have to have awesome listeners to give us all the stuff that we missed.
And this next one is from Supernatural Fanatic 0502, Sam's birthday. I totally got that reference. Just want to let you guys know. They say. What do they say? Let me zoom in because I don't have my glasses on. Why didn't Cisco just destroy Hartley's gloves?
I think the scientist in him really wanted to figure out how they worked.
I mean, I guess the point she's making is after that whole cold gun made such a big fuss, you might as well just destroy it and not hold on to it.
Yeah. Well, but did Cisco destroy it, the cold gun? Or did he just put it away?
Supposed to destroy it.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
I'm sure we will.
Thanks for that, guys, on Tumblr. Nothing in the email, but hey, there's still time. Like I said, I am giving away from here on out to people the Flash Tiny comic book as well as the monthly regular Flash. So, get some free swag and get your opinion read on the podcast.
That's right.
I am not above bribing you guys. Actually, shout out to anybody who has a link to Cisco's t-shirt. Keep calm and Han shot first. I'm looking for it. I'm on the hunt. Let me know. So yeah, time for some shameless plugs and self-promotion.
Well, you can find me on social media just about everywhere at Super Squint. That's SuperSquint. That's Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, everything. And you can also read my Flash reviews and articles over at voiceoftv.com. And you can listen to Lilith and I also on Quinn Consolidated. And I also co-host Before the Bat with Tyler and Phil.
As for me, I am Lilith Hellfire at Lilith Hellfire on Twitter, Lilith Fairy Hellfire on Tumblr. That's lilithfairyhellfire.tumblr.com. Or if you're a Super Hulak junkie or you like Hannibal, that comes on NBC, that's set to return later this spring. You can check it out at superhulakjunkie.tumblr.com. I also have a blog where I just write reviews pretty much about Flash, Arrow, Beauty and the Beast, pretty much any CW show. Find my blog at lovelovestv.blogspot.com. Remember, loves is spelled L-U-V-S. I also write for Voice of TV because, well, like I said, Kelly and I are Firestorm. I write the Arrow reviews. So, guys, be sure to check it out and leave comments. Always looking for some good comments. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I'm just bat guano crazy and you totally disagree with me. Let me know. I can handle a strong opinion. Like I said, you guys can find us on Twitter, flashpoint.smg. We're also flashpoint.smg@gmail.com. Please do rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes to help us climb the charts, to help other fans find us.
Make sure you download us, please.
Yes, because streaming does not count. Well, that just about does it for us here on the Flashpoint Podcast. Before you know it, next Tuesday I'll be here and
we'll be back in a flash.